everybody, welcome to a very special segment for the Nova Open Charitable Foundation. My name is Paul, your host. I'm joined by, I'm sure you recognize, Brent Amberger. Man, thanks for joining me.
Hello. Good to be here.
Dude, how you doing over there at Goobertown?
Doing well. Doing well.
Hey, well, thanks for joining us again for the foundation this year. Can you tell me a little bit about what your involvement is? Because I think you've got some entries into the raffle.
Yeah, so this is my second year doing stuff with the NOCF, and last year I did some blood angels. I painted 30 blood angels for last year's raffle. This year, tried to scale that back a little bit, but I did start thinking about what I wanted to contribute much earlier this year, and right about the time I was thinking about what I wanted to put in for the raffle is when the Warhammer Underworlds warband Kagra's Ravagers came out. And so that is 4 Slaves to Darkness, Warriors of Chaos, or 3 warriors and then 1 wizardy kind of lady. And yeah, so I have been working on an army for myself, this yellowy orange Slaves to Darkness army, and it's been a project here in Goobertown for well over a year at this point, like 18 months at this point. I should probably finish that up. But anyway, I really like the
Hey, no
yeah,
pressure. You can
no
go at your
pressure,
own
no
pace.
pressure.
Yeah.
I really do like that yellow paint scheme, and it seems like the internet likes it too. So I decided to paint those 4 figures up in that exact same paint scheme. And actually, I used this as an excuse to take my time and get them as good as I could and go in and get like a lot of close-up video shots that I'll use in future videos.
Oh,
So I've
nice.
done a lot of that video project as time lapses and kind of showing me sitting at the desk and there being like a big digital clock behind me showing that I've been working on this for however many 100 hours. And
Technically, you can put pressure on yourself. That's actually one of the
yeah,
whatever drives you
uh,
to get those projects done.
sometimes in the good way, sometimes in the bad way, but I don't know. I for the last few months I haven't sat down with my big clock and putting it in any time on that army, but I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it. Um,
Are you enjoying the color scheme though? Because that comes through in the project, which you know that someone's going to really appreciate having that, knowing
yeah,
that you had a fun time
yeah.
doing it.
No, I do. And this is what makes it more special is that I have been working on it for 18 months at this point, and it's something that I still enjoy. And so, as we all get better at painters, I very frequently find it to be the case that, I learn something new or I come to regret something or, why'd I do it this way? Or this yellow is no longer novel at all to me. I hate this color now. And so,
Hey, if you can make something that complex routine, then you've unlocked something.
yeah. And not only is there, a little bit of subtlety in the color transitions there, but it's a color scheme that I still enjoy. And that does not happen a lot. Like a lot of times when we're thinking about army color schemes, we go through a lot of choices, maybe do some test models. But it's very frequently that we, I don't know, change our favorite chapter or yeah, change what we want to be working on. And I'm real happy that this is still going strong, that I still look at those models almost 2 years later or whatever, and be like, yeah, that's a good paint scheme. I want to keep working on that army. And like I said, the internet seems to mostly like that yellow as well. So I figured I'd take that exact same color recipe, I'd put it down on that relatively new Warhammer Underworlds warband,
Hmm.
and yeah, like I said, since I've been doing a lot of my army as the big wide shots and the digital clock in the background, working on those 4 figures gave me a chance to take my time and get those like really in focus shots for when I'm putting together future videos on this project. So the 4 minis from that Kagra's Ravagers set, as long as I finish that army, are definitely going to end up in a Goobertown Hobbies video, like those 4 that are actually being raffled off right now. And yeah, if you care about that sort of thing, yeah, buy a ticket.
Oh, I think the enthusiasm is carries through. People are going to enjoy it. And look, that is a pretty accessible game too. So even if you haven't started playing that game, throw in a couple of tickets, and you're going to have a complete. That's a complete force.
Hmm.
Like you can take what you are doing and take it directly to the game, and you never need another figure out of that force.
It is, no, and they are beautiful figures. So I remember the Saturday that that Force was released. I went to my friendly local game store and they only had one in stock, so I bought it. And then I drove to the GW store and I bought two more of those, so that
Oh,
I'd have
nice.
one to paint up and raffle off, and then I'd have one to do some conversions and make myself a new Slambo because one of the warriors has two weapons out to the side,
Yep.
and yeah, so I've got two of those boxes for myself, and one is over at NOCF headquarters, waiting for a winner. But I did, of course, send along a pack of the Underworlds cards in case you actually do want to play with them. They're
Oh, I encourage people to play. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a great game. It's I mean, it's something you can bang out with your friends in 30, 40 minutes and get a full game's worth of experience. And one of the neat things is that this is like I mentioned, it's just a full army. You never need another figure. So it's if you're looking to get another ticket or two, if even if you're getting multiple things, throw in a ticket on this, and if you win, you've got everything you need to play,
yeah, yeah. I
basically.
guess with Underworlds, I mean, if you're really getting into it, you might pick up a couple of cards to slip into your deck or something. But in terms of actual figures, that is the warband. You can neither add nor subtract from that warband. And even in a couple of years, once it rotates out of official play or whatever, yeah, still should look good on the shelf, I hope.
It's
And
it, it's a neat
yeah,
feature of the game. Yeah. So what's the other thing you're working on?
yeah. So I also got roped into helping out with a Khorne Chaos Space Marine Chaos Army. So this is the same crew that was working on the Blood Angels army from last year, and
I can appreciate that affiliation with Red. As
yeah,
I'm
that
a Blood
was,
Angels guy. That's
honestly, I was like, I don't know if I want to paint any more red Space Marines. I was thinking of, like, politely declining this year and just focusing on the Kagras Ravagers. But then the list of figures that were actually going to be in that army, got shared around on the email chain, and there are two Lord Discordants on Hellstalker in there, and so yeah,
yeah.
if it was just like, Brent, do you want to paint 30 red Chaos Space Marines? I probably would have said, I'll catch up with you next year. But there was, yeah, Lord Discordant on Hellstalker, which is one of the minis from, there was some, box set that came out a year ago or so from Games Workshop, and it was one of the centerpieces. It's this,
It's
yeah,
amazing. It's an amazing model. It looks, I mean,
yeah.
intimidating, and vicious. I mean, it's an again amazing sculpt, amazing model.
Yeah.
So have you painted this yet, or is
Oh,
it
oh yes,
still
oh yes, yes, yes.
okay? All right.
Yeah, so it's like this giant metal insect thing, of
Hmm.
which Chaos Space Marines has a couple. And so it's this big armored six-legged thing. And then, I mean, I still don't understand all the lore, but it has like fleshy mandibles sticking out the front end of it. So there's something living in there. It has, all
Awfully
these
chaotic.
tubes that are filled with colorful liquids and stuff. But um, yes, I've painted that. Got some sweet red to black fades on there, and then painted all the trim. And man, Chaos Space Marines have a lot of trim, so that was. So I'm glad I didn't sign up to paint 30, even just infantry troops. But yeah, um,
That's another one of those things. You unlock a trick. You figure out what works for you, and then you can kind of go on autopilot. Maybe it's different for
well,
everybody.
I definitely was going on autopilot, but no matter how you do it, that trim takes a long time to do, which was fine. I actually found it really relaxing and everything. Um, And yeah, I know it made me appreciate that army. Like, I don't know, Warhammer IP, some of the stuff is so like out there and weird that it takes a while to click with you. And I've always found that it takes like a couple of years before like the next army clicks with you. Like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess Tau are pretty cool, or whatever. Like, and so it took a while for me to care about Space Marines, and then finally that sunk in. Like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, there's some cool design elements there, and they're really, yeah, okay. I can learn to enjoy these. Um, and then for me, Chaos Space Marines, this was the project that did it. One, just that sculpt is so cool, And then two, I was sitting there painting all the
Magnificent.
trim,
Yeah.
and people complain about all that trim, but I actually really like it. And so I'm working on a video here in Goobertown right now with a serious recommendation that new painters give Chaos Space Marines a try. And my argument here is that all of that trim adds so much contrast and like definition to all the important shapes on the model, so that even if you're painting by numbers, you got the red armor and then you got the gold trim. And yes, both of those steps are going to take a long time, but when you get done, you don't need to edge highlight because all the edges are covered in metal. And all the edges being covered in metal, they basically do the job of edge highlighting. So they trace
Just by the
around
nature
each
of
of the
light.
shapes.
Yeah.
They add the contrast to each of the shapes, and yeah, now you've got two colors on the mini, and they're also really well balanced. Like the composition is right because they're both spread throughout the entire figure, and so um, yeah, as soon as I finished doing a nice job on that Hellstalker, then I took out just a couple of spare, Chaos Space Marines I had around here, just started laying down like two colors, and like, wow, like even without shading or highlighting or
Oh,
anything
you've
like
you've got
that,
the
like
corruption of chaos.
these are not
It's
bad. These are not bad, and yeah. So also on this particular army project for the Corn Army, actually several names that you'll recognize, but one of the ones is Dave from Mini Wargamer Dave, and
chaos enthusiast.
Chaos Enthusiast. And so, I've long known that he is just obsessed with this faction, and I mean, I don't think I'll ever fully understand what goes on in his mind, but like I'm getting there. I'm starting to see the appeal of these minis for sure. Yeah.
That's how chaos gets you, man.
I
That's how.
guess. I guess.
Soon you'll be hooked. Well, look, if people have not already gone to check it out, go to the Nova Open Charitable Foundation website. Look at the armies, look at the single models, look at the special things that are up for raffle. Get a couple of tickets. It all goes to a great cause. Uh, Brent, is there anything else you'd like to cover before we wrap this up?
No, you just said it. Go check out all those auctions. They're yeah, this year, every year has a lot of great stuff. This year, again, lots of wonderful options. And man, I almost need to like make a straw account over here to buy a few tickets myself.
It's like it's really great to have you participate and seeing the stuff that you're doing this year. Hopefully, we can check in with you again as we get closer to the virtual event that we're going to host. But as always, it's really great catching up with you.
Absolutely.
Have a good
You
day.
too.